right, so today we're going to talk about solving multi-step inequalities. So again, just a reminder, these follow the same steps we would as if we were solving an equation. So first thing we'd look at, is there anything we need to distribute? Remember, the number right in front of the parentheses is what we're distributing. Okay, then we're going to combine any like terms. So we're going to look at each side of the inequality. If there's any like terms we need to combine, we're going to add those together without changing their signs. From there, excuse me. From there, we're going to look at if there's variables on both sides. Steps 1, 2, and 3 may not be part of our things. There may be one or a combination of them. Okay, from there, it's just solving that two-step equation inequality that we just did. Okay, so, all right, first thing looking here. First thing I'm gonna look at, do I have anything that I need to distribute on the left side of the inequality? So in this case, yes, I need to multiply by 7. Okay, 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 3 is 21. We're not changing that minus sign just because. Okay, so we've got 7x minus 21. Sorry, my nose itches. Equal or is greater than or equal to 28. So from here, I'm going to add 21 to both sides because it's a two-step equation. So I get 7x is greater than or equal to, well, 28 plus 21 gives me 49. Divide both sides by 7. And I get x is greater than or equal to 7. So my solution set is x is greater than or equal to 7. So on the number line, I would put a closed dot at 7. And since x we want to be greater than, I'm shading to the right, because I want all the numbers that are greater than. All right, looking at this one here, I've got negative times x plus 1 is less than or equal to 1. Now remember, there's that invisible 1 there. So I'm going to distribute that negative 1, giving me negative x minus 1 is less than or equal to 1. So I don't have anything else to simplify, so I'm going to add 1 on both sides. So we get negative x is less than or equal to, well, 1 plus 1 is 2. And don't forget, if you need, you can draw that line. Now, I still have that negative, so I'm going to divide by a negative 1. And what happens when I divide by a negative? I have to flip that inequality sign. So our solution is x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So I'm going to have a closed circle at negative 2. And since it's greater than, I'm shading to the right. All right, so let's look at this one here. So I don't have anything that I need to distribute. However, I do have like terms that are on the left here. So negative 5x and x, well, negative 5x plus x gives me negative 4x. Oops, I still have the minus 7, and that's going to be greater than 17. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides, because now I have just a simple two-step. So negative 4x is greater than, well, 17 plus 7 is 24. Then the last step I need to do is divide by a negative 4. And since I'm dividing by a negative 4, I flip that inequality sign. So 24 minus 4 divided by 4 is negative 6. So negative 6, we're going to have an open circle, and I'm shading to the left because it's less than. Okay, I want you to solve this one on your own. All right, so now let's look at this one here. I've got negative 7 times 2x plus 1 less than or equal to 21. So first thing I want to do is, since I've got parentheses, I want to distribute that. So I'm going to do negative 7 times 2x, which gives me negative 14x. And negative 7 times 1 gives me a negative 7. So that's going to be less than or equal to 21. From here, I've just got a two-step equation, so I'm going to add 7 on both sides. So negative 14 x is less than or equal to, well, 21 plus 7 gives me 28. Divide both sides by a negative 14. So x, since I divided by a negative, is greater than or equal to 2. Sorry, negative 2. So my solution is x is greater than or equal to a negative 2. So are we going to have an open or closed circle? Well, since it's equal to, I have a closed circle. And I'm shading to the right because it's greater than. So looking here, I've got negative 2 times x plus 3 plus 4x is less than 2. So looking at the left side here, I can distribute, right? So negative 2x. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. I still have the plus 4x less than 2. From here, I have like terms I need to combine. So negative 2x plus 4x gives me 2x minus 6 less than 2. Now we're at our two steps, so add 6 to both sides. So 2x is less than, well, 2 plus 6 is 8. Divide both sides by 2. So x is less than 4 for my solution set. So we will have an open circle at 4 shaded to the left. All right, we're going to look at 2 more. So right here, I've got 5 minus, in parentheses, x plus 1 less than or equal to 6. So we have to remember here that this negative has to be distributed before we can do anything else. So that 5 isn't going to go anywhere because it's got nothing else to work with. So negative 1 times x is negative 1x. Negative 1 times 1 is a negative 1, and that's going to be less than or equal to 6. From here, again, we need to look at, we have like terms, right? So negative 1 and 5 are both like terms. So I'm going to combine those together. So I get negative x. Well, negative 5 minus 1, or plus a negative 1, gives me 4. Less than or equal to, still have the 6. Now we're just at a two-step equation, so I'm going to or inequality. So I'm going to minus the 4s on both sides. Negative x is less than or equal to, well, 6 minus 4 is 2. Now I have to divide both sides by negative 1, so I get x is greater than or equal to negative 2 as my solution set. So at negative 2, I'm going to have a closed circle. And I'm shading to the right because it's greater than. All right, one last one, and yes, this one does look a little bit tricky because it does have fractions, but I promise it's going to come out okay. And remember, you can use your calculator. So first thing I want to do is I want to distribute my fraction. So 5 halves times 2. Okay, well, 5 times 2 is 10. Then I have to divide that by 2, which gives me 5. So I get 5x there when I multiply that fraction through. Then we're going to do the same thing with the 4. So 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. So I get plus 10 there. I still have the minus 3x. So now All I have to do is combine my like terms here on the right side. So we get 8 is less than or equal to, well, 5x minus 3x is 2x plus 10. Then from here, it's a two-step equation, so subtract 10 on both sides, 8 minus. That gives me a negative 2, less than or equal to 2x. Divide both sides by 2. So negative 1 is less than or equal to x. Now, remember, I don't like my variable to be on the right side, so I'm going to flip-flop everything. So I get x is greater than or equal to negative 1. Remember, you have to keep the inequality facing the same direction. So if the big side of the inequality was facing the variable, when you flip-flop it, it still has to be facing the variable. So negative 1 is my number that I'm going to put my dot at. It's going to be a closed dot. And since it's greater than, we're shading to the right. All right, that's all I have for this one, and I will see you in the next.